let's move on into what is 3D and what is 5D. 3D, third dimension. 3D is everyday life. It's your job, it's bills, it's your ego, it's fear. And 5D, the fifth dimension, is soul consciousness, intuition, compassion, trust. And the twin flame journey path teaches you to live in both. So the 3D is what you've always lived in. It's the dimension where you're in survival mode, where you're in fear mode, where you're just trying to get through each day, and it just seems normal. Seems normal. That's the 5D. Everybody's used to it. That's what, or excuse me, the 3D. I apologize. The 3D. Everybody's used to it. That's where you have been. And when you meet your twin, you will start to get a glimpse of the 5D and then start living in the 5D. And the 5D, the fifth dimension, is your healed state. It is consciousness. It is being who you truly are, your true authentic self, living from unconditional love. Love for others, spreading love, being light. I didn't mention this earlier, but like on this journey, you have this sudden urge where you just feel like you want to help people. You want to show other people that they don't have to live the way that they have been living in survival mode. You want to show them that it is okay to be themselves, to be that person that they were when they were just a little kid, where they weren't afraid of opinions, when they weren't afraid of other people's thoughts, and when they didn't hear or learn all these things that aren't real or not true about life. You could just express yourself. And you start to remember that. You start to remember who you really are. And you start to live in that realm, which is the fifth dimension. Okay, it's not some other place. It's a feeling. That's why I always say, like, hey, Jax, how are you? I'm floating around in the fifth. Because you do feel like you're floating. You finally get released of the heaviness of fear and worry and doubt and thinking that this life is the only life you have, and that, oh my gosh, I'm 43 years old right now. That means I have less than half my life yet left, and everything's ending. I might have a few more wrinkles on my face. That's a sign I'm going to die soon. Death. This fear. In the 5D, in the fifth dimension, your soul is eternal. You live on and on, lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. Your soul doesn't die. And you are living from your soul. You're remembering your soul and living that way in the 5D. Now, there's a part of the journey where you just want to be there all the time, and you kind of take your foot out of the 3D, and you have to learn a balance. You have to be in the 3D and the 5D together. 1 foot in that one foot in this one. Because you still need to pay your bills. You still need to go to work. You still need to take care of your family. You can't just be floating around in the fifth dimension all the time, because your 3D life is going to fall apart. So you got to find the balance. And that is part of the journey as well. So I hope that explains what the third dimension is, jobs, your bills, your ego, fear. And the fifth dimension is soul consciousness. Living from your intuition, compassion, trust, love, no worry, not afraid of death. Yeah, your body does eventually expire, but your soul lives on. And you have options. You can hang out in that higher realm, after your body dies, or you can come back. And you can come back anytime you want. It's all about soul growth. Earth is a school. And we chose to come here so we can learn more about our soul and who we are, and living and growing and ascension. Ascension. What does that mean? It's the ongoing process of raising your vibration and living more from love than fear. So ascension is moving from the fear, survival, 3D mode up into a higher level, the fifth dimension. And there is multiple dimensions, all the way up to the highest, which is God consciousness. Um, and I don't know if this is true or not. It seems to be true. It's kind of what I've been learning, is that our soul is trying to reach that level of God consciousness, which is why we keep coming back to Earth to learn the lessons that we're learning in order to reach God consciousness. So that's basically what ascension is. And you can actually see where you're at by reading your birth chart. I don't know if you've ever heard of a birth chart or a natal chart, but this is basically a snapshot of where all the planets are or were when you were born, that very minute that you were born. And there is what is called the Ascension line on your birth chart. And that'll tell you where you're at in this lifetime as far as your ascension goes. So, if you're interested in a birth chart reading, I can help you out. Anyways, that is what ascension is. Let's talk a little bit about mirroring. So, your twin flame is your divine mirror. There are things about your twin flame that may irritate you, that may get under your skin and be like, what? I know. That's you, by the way. That's your other self. There's also things about your twin flame that you love, you adore, you admire. And they're showing you those things because those are the things inside of you that you need to look at in this lifetime and learn and heal or remember that that's who you really are, that you can do that. You are those things. So, for example, there was a time in my journey where my twin had basically gaslit me, told me something that wasn't true. And I knew it was true. But at the time, I'm just like, okay, all right, I get it. I trust you, whatever. And then I started looking back at it when I started learning about twin flame and what twin flames are for, being your divine mirror for your soul growth. I was like, oh, so my twin flame at this point in time, or at that point in time, was afraid to speak their truth. So that means that I'm afraid to speak my truth. You see how that works, that mirror? So I started looking around in my life where I didn't speak my truth. And I just kept my mouth shut because that was safe. And instant after instant after instant, as I'm starting to go through my life and my childhood and where it all came from, I found out. I'm like, oh, this happened. This situation happened in my childhood. And it made me afraid to speak my truth. And then all throughout my life, I had different scenarios pop up where I was afraid to speak my truth. And I healed that. I understand why I did it then and why I don't need to do that now. And that is an example of mirroring and using your twin flame as a divine mirror to show you what it is inside of you that you still need to look at. You need to identify how you are living in this world right now and why you have those triggers by your twin. And this doesn't only happen in your twin, by the way. Your twin is not everybody that you cross paths with in this lifetime, this world, this earth is a mirror. It just so happens that they're your divine mirror. Those lessons are much more deeper. They're more prominent. And yeah, you cross paths with people, somebody irritates you. Look at that. Why are they irritating you? What is it about you that lets them irritate you? Or what is it in other people that you love? They're just showing that you also have that inside of you as well. And you can do it. So that's how that works. That's what mirroring is. So use your twin flame as a tool. That's how you can start this remembering your soul and who you are and living authentically and having unconditional love. You can start to see those things that your twin is sent here to show you about you, because your twin is you. And that's why you're cross. That is why your paths have crossed, because you're here to ascend. You're here to learn lessons. Yeah. So that's real. I know, still mind blowing. That's why I love this topic so much, because it's absolutely unbelievable. And I can't even believe I'm here making videos. This would have never, ever happened if I haven't met my twin. And now suddenly I want to tell everybody about what they can do to live freely and happily and out of fear. Get out of the fear zone. Get into the freedom zone and start floating around. So yeah, that.